All right, hey everybody, it's Dr. Dan. I'm back to show you how to look at your results from flow simulation. Again, I just decided to make a break in the video just to make it not so long and not so boring. But we've run flow simulation, it seemed to successfully work, and now we're just interested in seeing the results. Okay, and there's a lot of things we can look at, so I want to kind of go through some of the most important things. Number one, if you just want to see what the flow looks like, flow trajectories is a good way to do that. For when you guys are reporting your results in your papers, flow trajectory is not going to be very useful, but it is useful just so you can see, right? So I'm going to insert flow trajectories and show you how to do it. So it wants to know our starting points. So we're just going to choose the surfaces where we had our inlet flow, right? So one surface was that, and then another surface was that. So we can choose two surfaces. This is how many of points to choose. You can put as many as you want. I think like it's just more computational power. So I'm going to put 50. And then you can choose what you want. Arrows flat. I'm going to do lines with arrows. And then color by, right? So this is what you want the lines to be colored. Personally, I think velocity is more useful than pressure in this situation. Okay, so that's pretty good. So I'm just going to hit check. It's going to do some math. And so this is what our flow looks like. Okay, interesting. And we could like zoom in here and see that it's kind of crazy that the intersection of those two flows. You can see some of this goes this way. A lot of this flow seems to go out this way, right? So if you're wondering where the fluid goes from each of the cases, you see there's like some recirculation here, right? And so remember, this is water, and so there's a lot more turbulence in this one because we simulated both turbulent and laminar, not just blood. So this is, again, just kind of fun to visualize what things look like. Although I don't know that it's entirely useful as far as claiming some results. The only way this would be useful is like you would say, hey, there's some recirculation going on here, right? And so this is maybe one of the only ways we can actually see that recirculation going on. In your simulations, I don't think you'll see any of this, okay? So if you do see this, fine, you can report it, but I don't think you will. Okay, so now that we've done that, I can probably hide this and look at some of the other ways to look at results. So one of the things that's useful to look at is surface plots to see what's going on the surface, right? So I can insert a surface plot. One of the things I think it's just the most easiest way to do this is just say use all faces. However, you might not want to use all faces. You might just want to look at the surface in a certain section, right? And so you go in here and you just want to see the surface in that section, right? Or the surface in this section, or whatever the case might be. So if you do this and you want to see all of them, right, or a bunch of, you can select multiple ones in there and select just that area. But I'm just going to select use all faces and we'll look at everything. Okay, and then how to display it. Contour shows a nice graphic colored region. Again, then we want to think about what we want to look at. We'll look at velocity first because we know something about velocity. We've learned that the velocity on the surface is zero, right? The no slip condition means the velocity on the surface is zero. So we're just going to prove that to ourselves. And then this is how many different colors to use. So how granular you want your colors, right? So I'm going to just choose this right for now. And so we can see it's all blue, which is expected because our velocity is zero at every surface, right? No slip condition. So perfect, that worked. But I don't really care about velocity. I'm going to edit the definition. And maybe I want to look at something else. Like maybe I want to look at the pressure distribution. 10 levels, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Maybe I want more levels, so I'm going to put like 25 in there. And so I hit check. Okay, and now we have our pressure distribution. One of the things you always end up seeing in a situation like this, it like auto-scaled, and somewhere in here, there's this low 99651. I have a suspicion it's on like the lid or something like that, and then it's not really anywhere else. So what you can do is automatically scale, right? And so we're seeing like orange seems to be the lowest, so like 99986 or maybe 99944. So I'm going to change this to 99900. And that will rescale things and let it use a bigger range for our colors, right? So now we're all the way down to like green at least. And you can then see a better detail on where this is changing. Again, I might rescale even more. I don't know, let's make it 7.0. Okay, and so now we're definitely using a lot more of the range, right? And so we get better resolution on the colors. So this is something you're certainly going to have to do when you're using surface plots, is redo the scale so you can see what's going on. So that's our surface plot. I'm going to do one more thing. I'm just going to show you if we're interested in saying shear stress. Okay, again, I'll put that 25, leave that the same. Okay, again, it looks like there's very small shear stress throughout all this. Somewhere it detected there's 21 shear stress. I'm not sure where, but I'm going to just change this upper edge to 2. And so now we get a much more detailed view of shear stress. Something you're going to have to do, I think, is change the upper and lower bounds. One other thing that's, I think, really useful is if you do some research and you're like trying to define, hey, where is it bad or where is it good, right? And so you're like, I've done research and I found all values, and I'll just say greater than 1 shear stress, are really bad. And so that way I can find every area that is the solid red color is where there is bad shear stress, right? I've identified those. Or maybe on the same way on the lower end. Maybe you've done some research, and anything that's less than 0.5 shear stress is considered bad. And so I'm going to set my ranges like that. So any place that's blue, it's bad because it's too low. Any place that's red is bad because it's too high, right? And so quickly identifies the areas you might be concerned about by just setting the scale. The same way with the surface plot, you might be interested in surface parameters, right? So I'm going to insert surface parameters. And this is very similar to surface plot, but it's like, what parameters do you want to know? Things get, I think, a little more tricky because sometimes you're not interested in all faces. So I could use all faces. Let's say I want to see shear stress. And so I just hit show what that is. And so it tells me that the minimum is 0, the max is 21.25. You're like, great, but I really want to see, just in a certain region. I'm only concerned with a certain region. So let's say I'm only really interested in the shear stress, like in these joining regions, right? So that's why I might uncheck and just choose that face and that face and maybe that one, right? Again, look at shear stress. I can show. Oh, okay. So I think, what I think I've done, and this is good, I'm glad I can show you this, is I have selected the outer surfaces of those. So I'm going to delete these. I want to make sure I select the inner surface. So I'm going to hit X on this. One thing that helps is hiding my surface plot so I can actually see the inner. So I'm going to edit surface parameters. All right, and I want to make sure I select the inner surface. I'm going to zoom way in here. And you can see when I click it, it's the outer surface. So instead of that face 1, I'm going to right click and select other. And you can see you can select different faces. So I want this one, which is the inner surface of that. So that's face 4, and now I can delete face 1. All right, same thing on here. Okay, so I got the inside of that one, the inside of that one, and I wanted the inside of this one too. Select other, and choose the interface. Okay, so I have those 3. Again, maybe I just want the shear stress. Show. And so it gives me the min, max, and surface area of that area. So again, if you're interested in only certain areas, that's what you can do. You can just select the surfaces you're interested in. Okay, with surface parameters, there's one other thing I wanted to show you, is we want to know the exit flow rates, right? And so we could do that with a surface parameter too of our exits, right? So again, it's going to be insert surface parameter, and we're going to do our selection, and I can select the inner lid there. And I'm just going to select mass flow rate. Okay, and again, I'll hit show. And it tells us the mass flow rate. And it gives us a value of negative 0.0087. It's the flow rate coming out. It just happens to be because the normal vector is pointed in. If you remember when we made it, the normal vector, that face was pointed in, so it's negative. Okay, so that gives us the mass flow rate of that. Again, I'm going to do the same thing on this other exit. So right-click surface parameters, insert a new one, choose that mass flow rate. Okay, and so the mass flow rate there is less than the mass flow rate coming out of here. Okay, so that's one way you can check how much flow is coming out of each of your exits. Okay, cut plots are something we can look at what things look like on a certain plane, right? And so one of the planes for this that might be useful is like this top plane that just kind of cuts all the way through the middle of that entire thing, right? And so we can see like what's going on throughout the middle of this entire structure. And so that's a useful plane to use. Sometimes you might have to draw your own planes if you want to see other things, right? So this front plane, for instance, maybe isn't the best, but maybe I want to see the flow, what's going on with the flow like right in this area, right? So instead of front plane, I'm actually going to go ahead and insert, I'm going to select the front plane, I'm going to insert reference geometry plane, and I'm going to just offset it by a little more than that, like 20 millimeters, right? Just so we have another plane. I'm going to hide this thing so we don't see it. And then when I go back to flow simulation, I can do a cut plot. So I can insert a cut plot. Again, what's this to know what plane we want to use. And so I can select a plane. And so the first one I'm going to do is the top plane. And again, we can choose how we want to display it. Contours. I'm going to do velocity. Again, I like having a little bit more granularity to the colors. Hit check, right? And then it shows us a cut plot so you can see what it looks like just in the middle there. And one thing to point out is you can see I look at the top, I look at the bottom. SOLIDWORKS also does a lighting thing with this. So when you're displaying the data, right, you want to make sure that you are looking at it with enough light on it. Because if we're looking at it from the bottom, you can see how dark it is and you can't really see what's going on, right? So we can see the velocity. Again, the same tricks would apply. Somewhere in here, there is 0.5 velocity, but it's hard to find. So I think I'm going to lower this down to 0.25. And then we get an auto scale, and that gives us a little bit better idea of what the velocities look like. So that's kind of cool. And then we can look at that other cut plot with the other plane. So I'm going to hide this one. And so the other plane we had was plane 8. I'm going to select that. Again, I'll look at velocity. So we can look at the cross-section of velocity and hit check. Okay, and we could see what the velocity looks like. Okay, and you can see this plane actually intersects all three vessels, and maybe we're only interested in here, and so that's where we'd have to kind of ignore these two and set our scale accordingly, right? So I'm going to make sure I really set the scale low. Maybe just 0.025 would be good, right? So we can see that it's going to have this parabolic shape. Again, the same deal applies as far as lighting here, and unfortunately the lighting's coming down from the top, and so we can actually adjust that by changing the scene and adding some lighting, add some lights to make sure we light it. This is something you guys can walk through, but there's these different directional, there's ambient lighting, and so we can do all that. I don't want to spend time in the video now, but that's how you can make it so this actually looks a little bit brighter. The real last thing I want to show you is an XY plot. XY plot will show you values of certain parameters over a line. Sometimes we can use a sketch we already have, right? So let's go ahead and insert an XY plot. Maybe we want to, so let's look at, we want to see how the pressure changes down a line. Let's say we want to use this line. We want to see how the pressure changes down that line. I hit check. right? And it shows me the pressure, how it changes down that line. And so you can see at that intersection, the pressure does this interesting thing, which also cool. So I go to edit definition. You can go down here, you can export it to Excel. And so you can actually take this plot and make it into a nice plot in Excel and edit it and make it look how you want, or overlay plots from different conditions with each other in Excel. So that's pretty cool. But let's say, we have this XY plot works pretty good, but let's say you want to see like the velocity profile across what we had before. So I'm going to go back to our drawing. In plane 8, we wanted to see what the velocity looks like across this vessel. We kind of saw it visually, but now I want to see like a graph and see what it looks like. So what I can do is on plane 8 and insert a sketch. So I can go ahead and draw a line from origin, just the outside. I'm going to go ahead and draw it back through, just so it goes all the way through there. I'm going to delete the first segment of the line. Okay, so I just have a line going through there for my sketch. I'll exit sketch, right? So this is sketch 13. It goes through the middle. It's hard to see, but it goes through the middle of that blood vessel. So I go back over to flow simulation. I can insert an XY plot, choose that line, again, choose velocity, and show what it looks like, right? And so we can see what the velocity looks like. Again, we expect it to look like a parabola with max in the middle, and that's exactly what we see. Again, this is really useful because we can export it to Excel. We can then maybe overlay it with other plots, make it look just how we want in Excel. And so this is a good tool you can use to see your actual data and get some actual numbers out of what's going on in your flow simulation. All right, so I think that covers it about all. I know that was a lot. Y'all will have to decide what you want to look at, how you want to look at it, what's important for you to look at. And that will come through research. But I think I've shown you how we can do everything that you'll need to be able to do.